everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Peanut City Police. This week we are joined by communications operator Andrea Beale. Thank you for joining us. You've been here before, though, so thank you. Welcome back.
Thank you.
I guess we should say.
Thank you.
So let's start off by talking about your recent award. So you were honored as the Suffolk Emergency Communications Operator of the Year at the 38th Annual Hampton Roads Telecommunications Banquet. So just tell me a little bit about that award and what that means to you.
So each year, a telecommunicator from every jurisdiction is nominated as Dispatcher of the Year or Telecommunicator of the Year. And they are usually nominated for outstanding work that they have done in the dispatch community, whether it be a call that they've taken or handled, or how they work with others inside of the dispatch environment. It's just a combination of things that they have done throughout the year. Most of the time, it's what other people have noticed about their work, and then they will make the nomination through submission. And then, of course, it goes through the award committee, and that person is nominated and told.
Yeah, and what did that mean to you? I mean, we have great dispatchers here, but to be Suffolk's for this year, how does that feel?
It's an honor. It's always an honor. Not to brag or anything like that, but I have been named Dispatcher of the Year a few times in the past, and every time I'm told, it's always a shock because, like you said, we have so many great dispatchers in Suffolk, and just to be chosen out of the many is such an honor, and I'm truly humbled and appreciative of whoever took the time to make the nomination, first of all, because it just not only says that I'm doing something right, it just means that and to me, someone took notice, and that makes me happy.
Yeah, that's great. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And in your opinion, what does it take to be a great dispatcher?
I think just great customer service, just being customer oriented, not taking things personal. Some people are going to call in with, a traumatic injury or a traumatic issue or some type of tragedy, and you can't take those things personal. Always just taking an initiative, being proactive, just making sure that your customer is getting what they're asking for, and if they're not, just trying to make sure at the end of the day that you've given them what they need, and not only for the people who call in, but for your first responders also.
Definitely. Thank you.
And as we mentioned, we've had you on before, and you gave us a little kind of insight into what, dispatching, what that looks like in y'all's Emergency Communications Center. But can you talk more about what drives you to come to work every day?
Just the willingness to help. I enjoy helping people. I like seeing, although we in dispatch, we don't always get the end result of what happened on calls. Just knowing that I did my part to help somebody, it just gives me joy. Like, I like being able to know that I had a hand in helping somebody through what could be a stressful situation for them. It's kind of funny that when I'm off and I see like fire engines or or whatever going down the road, I always know what they're responding to based on how many units I see responding. Wow. So it's just funny to me, but it's just because I take it to heart. I like being able to help, and I just have that helping attitude in me, and so that drives me. I like coming here knowing that at the end of the day, somebody's going to get helped. Might not be everybody, but somebody will get help.
Sure, and you're helping our citizens along with our first responders as well. Yes. It's definitely twofold there.
Yes.
Great.
Okay, you recently had a call that came through. And can you tell us about that call and how you never know what may be on the other end of that call?
I had a few calls that come through. I can only assume it's the one where the kid called in and wanted me to pray for him.
Yes.
It was late at night. It was probably around 2 o'clock in the morning. When he called in, I thought it was a prank at first. And he kept saying, hello, hello. And when I said, this is Suffolk 911, how can I help you? He said, my family is asleep and everybody's sleeping. I don't want to wake them. I just want to know if you could stay on the phone with me and pray with me. And at first I was a little shocked, but then I was like, I can't stay on the phone with you, but I will pray for you. By me having a religious background, and I believe in prayer, and I believe that prayer works. When my son was younger, I used to pray with him every night before we went to bed. So I just felt that I needed to do that. I could have very well said, no, this is not what 911 is for. We can't do that. But I stopped what I was doing, and I made sure that I gave him what he needed. I made sure that he was comfortable before we hung up. You never know what you're going to get, because right after that, I got a horrible call that, still sticks with me. But it goes from one extreme to the next. One day it can be nice and calm all day. The next day it can be just tragic after tragic after tragic. Mm-hmm. So you just have to, and we don't have time to decompress. Mm-hmm. We don't have time to stop and think about what we just handled or what we just heard. We just have to keep going. And sometimes that can take a toll after years and years of doing it. Mm-hmm. There is a call that I took, I want to say maybe 10, 20 years ago, and it still sticks with me to this day. So I just talked about it maybe 2 days ago, that it's ingrained in me. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it'll ever go away.
Well, thank you for what you did for that baby. I know that will stay with him the rest of his life. Yes. So yeah. I'm glad that you were able to do that.
Yes.
And we mentioned too, kind of right person, right time, yes. For you to answer that call. And I think you hit on it too. Some people could be like, this is not what 911 is for, but you were able to take a few seconds and make sure that he was taken care of as well, as you mentioned.
Yes.
Great. Well, thank you for that. And hopefully he remembers it. And I know you will always remember it as well. Yes. So that's great. All right. Well, is there anything else that you would like to add about either your recent award, why you chose emergency communications, anything else that we haven't covered with you today?
I chose emergency communications because, again, it's just a way for me to give back to the community. I know I've mentioned it before, but I love to give back. I love to be able to help the community. I'm not a police officer. I'm not chasing anybody, and I'm not going into burning buildings. Mm-hmm. However, I can talk you through CPR. I can help you deliver a baby, and I can do it in a calm, professional way. I would like to say for those out in the world that the communications operators, we are trained for a lot of different emergency services. You just have to give us the opportunity to help. Even though we're talking on the phone, help is already on the way. So don't think that we're delaying the response by talking. The people are already responding, and they will be there as soon as they can. They have to respond safely, and they have to respond in a manner that's going to get them there to be able to help you. So that's all I would like to say.
Absolutely. And, like you said, you may not be a police officer, you may not be a firefighter, but you're still a first responder. You're still on the front lines. Nobody just gets to see you.
That's right.
So you're still very important. And like you said, you offer all those services that can help those that are responding right to the scene. So we appreciate that, and you and all of your team that work over in the Emergency Communications Center.
Yes, thank you.
Great. Well, Andrea, thank you again for joining us today. We really appreciate it, and speaking a little bit about what you do and how important that role is.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for watching, and we will see you next time.